In this lesson, we're going to be taking a look on how to create interactive forms from Adobe Acrobat. This is a different way to create interactive forms for both academic and professional use. First, we're going to go through how to create a simple interactive form for classroom use. I pulled a worksheet from sharemylesson.com, and I've gone ahead and I've opened it up in Adobe Acrobat. Right now, I want to focus on the right panel. We have a lot of tools to choose from. I can search for certain tools by using the search bar, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on More Tools. A panel is going to come up, and as you can see, there are a lot of options that we can choose from when it comes to creating, sharing, and even ensuring security with our PDF. I'm going to scroll back up and I'm going to select Prepare Form. I plan on using this a lot, so I'm going to select the drop down and Add Shortcut. I now have this accessible to me while I edit my PDF. I can always delete a shortcut that I don't want by selecting the X, and I can add any shortcut that I want by coming back to this panel and adding it to my shortcut menu. I'm going to go ahead, select my document again, and then select Prepare Form. A dialog is going to come up on how are you going to import your document. I currently have single file selected. I want to walk through some of the options that we have. We can select to have a signature required by tapping, and I also want to focus on this form field. By having auto detection on, what we're doing is we're indicating that forms were previously created. Sometimes it's a little bit easier to create your worksheet within Pages or Word by using tables. What Adobe Acrobat's going to do is try to create some forms from those tables. I want to put an emphasis on try because sometimes this is a hit or a miss. Sometimes Adobe Acrobat gets it right, and other times they might mistake your heading as a form. You can always turn this option off by selecting, and from this pop-up, you have different options that you can select when it comes to actions on your PDF. If I had a scanner, I can select to scan a document directly into Adobe Acrobat, or I could select to start from scratch and create new. Under this option, I also have an option to require a signature. I'm going to go back and select Single File and hit Start. I receive an alert that no forms were detected. That's because with this particular document, no forms or tables have been created prior. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And for right now, we're going to focus on text options. If I wanted to add additional text after creating my worksheet, I can select the text option and start typing. So I'm going to type name, and date. The next thing we're going to take a look at are text boxes. You can see that I have a blue rectangle, and I could tap wherever I want on this document to add. I'm then going to name my text field, and I can make it a requirement that whoever receives this document must fill out this text field. Okay, so let's go ahead and create our text box for our date. I can adjust the sizing by placing my mouse at the end of the text box and dragging. I can also change the font, rotation, and positioning within Adobe Acrobat. I can increase the size of the text box for, like, let's say short answers by adjusting the size. I'm going to double click to edit my title, and I also have access to more options. I want to focus on that right panel again. You can see that I have 3 pages in this particular document, and Adobe Acrobat is showing me the type of form I have and where it's located. I could click on preview to see what my document's going to look like. And this is really the area that we're going to focus on when it comes to testing our forms. It looks like everything's good, so I'm going to finish building the rest of my document and then hit save. So I've saved my form and I've opened it up in Apple's Preview app, but this also works in apps like Quick Look and other editable programs. You can see that as I move my mouse, certain areas of my document start to light up. These are indicating that you can input text in these areas. So let's test it out. Okay, so everything seems to be working, but what happens when you have that one student that just loves to give a lot of detail? I have some text holder and I'm going to paste it a few times. They can input their answer, but know that when you receive the document, you might have small text. So you're going to need to copy and paste it into Word, Pages, or Text Edit to read. Keep in mind that this option is really best for short answers. And if you're looking to have an essay, you might want to reformat it that you can add really long text boxes. Your student can now save their document and email it to you directly. This is a great option to start making your worksheets a little more digital and eliminate any paper handouts. I now want to take time to look at some business solutions to use when you start using Adobe Acrobat. We already know how to create a document and how to create text fields, but what happens when we have a drop-down, need item selectable, or even need a signature? This time, I'm going to require a signature. Okay, so you see that I have some blue boxes. This is exactly what I was talking about earlier. This document was created in a table, and Adobe Acrobat's trying to develop a form. Sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. And in this case, it didn't. I was going to use other interactive options, so I'm just going to go ahead and delete these text boxes anyway. I'm going to go ahead with our text boxes, and as you can see, now we have additional options. Right now, what it's saying is anyone that's involved with this document can fill out this text field. This option now appears because we required a signature. I'm going to go ahead and select that only the signer fills out this portion of the document. You can see in the right panel that now it's indicated that this particular text field is for the receiver of the document. I'm going to go ahead and add our phone number next. And let's make it that anyone could fill out this text field. And you can see that there's a difference between the two and how they're listed. One has an indicator while the other doesn't. I'm going to continue to add our last text box, and let's make this one for the signer again. Now for items returned. What I want to do is I want to create a checkbox. You can see that it's created a small square, and I'm going to release. I want it that the sender has control of checking off when items are returned. So I'm going to select Sender. For number of items, I want to add a drop-down menu. So I'm going to select my menu and name it. I'm then going to double-click on the field, and I'm going to head over to Select Options. This is where you're going to put everything that is selectable within your drop-down. So, for example, I'm just going to put 1 through 5. I can also type a heading or instruction within the text box. I can adjust the order by moving it up or down. Once I hit OK, you can see that my items appear. If I wanted to add a calendar option where I could input dates, I'm going to select my calendar and place it. I'm going to go ahead and create another drop-down menu for my equipment that's available. And I'm going to add a text field for the numbers. The last interactive option that I want to talk about are radio buttons. Think of a radio button as a multiple choice answer. We're going to create the radio button by clicking onto our document, and then we're going to adjust the sizing by hovering over the corners, clicking, and dragging. We want all our buttons to be the same, so I'm going to copy and paste. But now we run into a little issue. If we look at our right panel, we can see that all our radio buttons have the same name. This is an issue because when we select one, it's going to select all of them. So I'm going to double click on the name, change it, and then deselect. I'm going to do this for all our radio buttons. Now that we have some of our document done, I'm going to go ahead and test our form. Okay, our checkbox is working. So are our drop-down menus. And we could select dates within our calendar. And here comes our biggest test, our radio buttons. You want to make sure that you don't have multiple buttons that could be selected. Okay, so that works. I've gone ahead and I finished my form, and now I'm going to send it off to my client to sign. I'm going to select Adobe Sign, and I'm going to input my client's email. I can add a description, and both my client and I will be notified about the document. You can deal with contracts, invoices, and other documents that might need a signature. Adobe Sign is a program that's been in the Adobe family for a while now, but it's really nice that they've made certain improvements to incorporate it when you're dealing with forms in Adobe Acrobat. This is a great way to continue to work digitally during remote learning and working from home.